Okay, so this video is showing the difference between a Pose Based Deformer and Euler driven deformer. But in both cases we're using the same blend shape. We're just using a different method to get the new position of where the blend shape should fire. So I'm just going to give you an example of the way that we've used so far, and that's using a traditional a corrective blend shape, which we've used with the extract deltas plugin. And I'm just going to hook this up here so we can see this is what the mesh looks like around here, and particularly in the shoulder area. It looks okay, but we can get it a bit better with the corrective blend shape. So I'm just going to unmute this guy here, so unmute selected, and you can see there's our change in the mesh. So if I'm to select that blend there and go select node, we can see the difference between that blend on and off there. And I've hooked this up via a driven key so that the actual arm, when it comes down, it slowly keys that on. So you can see at frame 1 that blend shape is not on at all, and as it comes down you can see over there that it's now at 1, and we've hit this nice spot. Now that's all well and good, and it's working exactly how we'd want it to. However, there is times when this falls down, and the reason for this is that Euler rotations. So we can have lots of different combinations of these numbers and have exactly the same angle. And I'm going to show you, this requires a real knowledge of Gimbal lock and Euler rotation. So have a look at that on the web if you can. What I'm going to do is quickly going to show how this works. So we're rotating this arm around and going into exactly the same position. And now what you can see is that all these details here is 180, negative 180, and now that our rotation Z is 110 rather than negative 70. So if I was just to scroll back here, watch this rotate Z, which is the number that we're using to drive the blend shape. As I scroll back, it's now at negative 70, and as I scroll forward, it's now at 100, positive 110. So if I click just here, you can see the difference in the poses is identical, but with one, the blend shape is firing and coming on. This is the corrective. And with the other, the blend shape has failed to fire. And this is because this rotate Z value is actually a completely different rotation value than the one at frame 10. Now, this is Euler rotations, guys. This is how Maya works by default with these numbers. There's not a lot we can do about it. Now, one thing is you could just go back and fix this up if you're animating FK, forward kinematics, on this, but a lot of the times we're using IK and constraints and these sorts of things, and these sorts of numbers can really be quite arbitrary depending on how they're following the IK. So unfortunately, a lot of times we don't really have control over what these numbers are doing, and sometimes depending on how Maya decides to convert this sort of data, we can get this sort of weird flipping where the blend shapes won't fire. Now, this is really only a problem in things like shoulders and really joints that have a very high range or degrees of freedom, but it still happens. So particularly in the shoulders is where we always notice it as riggers. Now, what I'm going to do here is come down here, and I'm going to mute this again by switching it off on the Euler rotation demo. So let's just mute that. And I'm going to come over here to the next. We've got another blend shape here, and this one here is being driven by Pose Based Deformers. So if we go unmute selected now, you can see that I'm still coming down and our blend shape is firing as it always was, and we've still got our weird animation that we have here to here. But now you'll notice that both these two poses have identical blend shapes, and in fact if we go in here and have a look, select that node again, you can see that node has fired in both circumstances, and it's identically the same number. So Pose Based Deformers works on vectors and not Euler rotations, and it's a little bit more accurate for this sort of a thing. So unfortunately it's a little bit of a pain to set up if you don't have the old Michael B. Comment Pose Deformer plugin, but there's a way that we can do it without that plugin. So I'm going to show you how to set that up in the following lessons. And okay, let's get right into it.